My name is Jessica McDonald. I'm a professional soccer player for Racing Louisville in the NWSL. I am a striker, also a mom, been a mom. My son is now 11 years old today as we speak, and I grow more gray hair only when it's his birthday, not mine. It's what really gets me going every day because I have to be great. I have to be great, not just for myself, but for my son, because I also represent him. I grew up at a different time than a lot of this younger generation. I grew up in the 90s. I was the only girl in my family until I was about 14 years old. So I had my older brother and I had all my boy cousins. We were all around the same age. And so we grew up outside, pretty much outside the house. I mean, we were playing street hockey, football at the park with neighborhood friends, whatever the case may be. This was a time in my life where I felt like an underdog because I was the only girl. And, you know, they always wanted to pick at me because I was a girl. And so I always had like this fearless vibe to me. Like, okay, I know that we're going to go play football today and I'm going to be quarterback and I'm going to throw a bunch of touchdowns to my teammates, whatever the case may be. This is where my competitiveness and my goal setting really started at a very young age. It was almost like I was sort of forced into it, but in a very good way, you know, just because I always just wanted to prove myself to my cousins and my brother that I belonged with the group. As I got older and I was no longer in co-ed sports growing up, obviously I started to join in on club soccer. I started when I was about 12 years old. And so this was a time where I was like, okay, at first it was like, okay, I'm gonna do the best that I can. And so from that point on, I wanted to just dominate in everything that I did, whether if it was soccer, whether if it was basketball, whether if it was track, anything. Now, as a professional and as a mom, I truly, deeply wanted to be the best mom that I possibly could be. So my goal was to make sure that I am raising a good human. That's a goal of mine. Just, okay, as long as my son's just gonna be a good person, that's huge for me. As a professional athlete, as the years go by, as you get older and you become a veteran, there are certain ways and avenues to adjust your game. And so at the beginning of my pro career, it was like, okay, I want to be rookie of the year. And then I skipped a year. I had a major knee injury. And so that was like a whole nother goal setting situation. It was like, okay, I want to come back from this stronger than what I was before. And I could definitely say I'm a walking testimony of that because I feel like I am stronger and much better now at 35 than I was at 18 years old. As each season comes about in my career, it's like, okay, I scored this many goals last season. I want to score one more than I did last year. So whenever I set these goals and I meet them, this is where I kind of mess myself up in the head a little bit. It's like, okay, I scored my 10 goals. It's kind of like, now what? Okay, we keep going because you can always do better. You can always improve. And so I guess that's part of the jock in me because that's what sport has brought to the table for me is goal setting. It's like, okay, for me as an individual, I want as many assists as possible. So now I'm leading in assists all time in the NWSL and I want to keep that. That's my goal. And then obviously I want golden boot this season, you know, and then I want to help my team win as many games as I possibly can. And what does that look like bigger picture wise? Obviously I need to work my tail off day in and day out. There are off days where I'm out there on my own shooting the ball. You know, I'm not sitting here posting on social media or anything, but sometimes we have to put in the hard work when no one else is watching. And so that's where your talent also comes in at. And whatever it is that you guys do for a living, you know what you're good at. And so for me as a striker, I know all of my strengths. So this is me working on all of my strengths and getting better and better at them and almost perfecting them as best that I can. But also, most importantly, working on my weaknesses as well. And so this is where I've been able to help my teammates as a veteran now, like, hey, this is what you're good at. If you're right-footed, keep the ball on your right foot if you want to. You can obviously get it on your left, but get it back on your right and take a shot. So little things like that, I'm trying to also have that leadership role to help my younger teammates obviously have their own goals to set. And so I just try to stay inspired, wanting to do the best that I can, not only as a mom, but every day at training and in my job. And so this is where 2 NCAA championships come into par, 3 NWSL championships come in, and World Cup champion as well. But I still want more. I'm still hungry for more. And so that's, I guess, where the nitty gritty from where my goal setting comes in at is wanting to continue to be successful and helping others around me with that as well.